Welcome to another tasting video, and today we're looking at another wine from the iTant stable. This wine is Quesí. It's from a slightly different region. Remember, iTant make wines they're specialists in southern Catalonia. They make great white wines in Terra Alta, great red wine in Montsant, and this wine, Quesí, is actually made in Prriorat, one of the best-known winemaking regions in Spain, perhaps after Rioja. It was a region that was rediscovered during the 1980s, early 1990s, by a small band of wine disciples, people like the Palacios family, and they really helped to put it on the map and really relaunch Spain as a wine-producing country internationally, on the international wine scene. So we're in Denominación de Origen Prriorat. iTant is a project really focused on showcasing the grapes and the winemaking traditions of this particular part of the world, of southern Catalonia. It's about highlighting the grape varieties and how they combine with the soil and the climate to make some really complex, really interesting, really representative wines, very Mediterranean wines. This one is no exception, Quesí. This is a blend. It's a blend of Garnacha, red Garnacha, but also Samsó. Now you may be scratching your head saying, what is Samsó? Well, Samsó is Carignan in French. That would be the more common term for it in French. Remember, if you've tasted wine from Rioja, or if you've watched any of our tasting videos of wines from Rioja, we talk sometimes about Mazuelo. Mazuelo is how they talk about Carignan in Rioja. Well, Samsó is how they talk about Carignan in the Catalan language. So it's a blend of Garnacha and Samsó. In this case, the grapes are harvested manually. There's a good selection of fruit in the vineyard, which means any substandard fruit is thrown out. And the grapes are then kept chilled. And I know I've banged on about this in lots of other videos, but keeping the grapes chilled at 10 degrees on the journey from the vineyard, to the winery, is really, really important. It keeps that quality locked in. We don't lose anything along the way. And then when the grapes arrive at the winery, there's another manual selection of fruit. Anything substandard is thrown out on the selection table, and the grapes then are destemmed and go into the fermentation tank, the big stainless steel fermentation tanks. And they undergo a temperature-controlled fermentation at about 23 degrees centigrade. Remember, red wines are fermented at a slightly higher temperature than white wines. That's because white wines, we're trying to lock in some of those delicate flavors. So having a lower temperature allows those aromas and those flavors to really shine through. Whereas red wines will they'll resist slightly higher temperature without any loss of flavor. And once the wine has been fermented, it is then put into barrels. It undergoes what's called malolactic fermentation in the barrel, in the wooden French oak barrels. And then it's aged for about 3 months on average before it is fined and filtered, bottled and released. So we're going to open it up and give it a taste. Let's pour ourselves a glass. Look at the colour, that's delicious. Look, lovely, dense, almost opaque purplish colour. So immediately on the nose, I'm getting a real sort of hit of Mediterranean forest, things like rosemary and fennel. Give it a swirl in the glass to give it aerate it a little bit. What's that doing? That's letting out more. It's giving more of the content of the wine. That's giving me some red and black fruit as well. Quite mature red and black fruit, not young fruit. That's a real generous nose there. It fills the mouth. It's a full-bodied wine. I'm picking up a lot of that Mediterranean forest still in my mouth. A lot of that herbal, savoury notes as well from the 3-month barrel aging. Remember, it's had 3 months in French oak barrels. Again, the fruit, red currants, black currants. It's got good tannins in there, nice round, creamy tannins. Everything very well integrated. It's a good long finish as well. That wine is staying with me as it goes down my throat. It's reminding me of who it is. That's a great wine. It's a food wine, I would say. It's a wine that would go very well as we're coming into winter, perhaps now with redder meat dishes, perhaps with stews, the guisos, if you're a fan of guisos. It would also work well actually with puddings, things like chocolate-based desserts. It could work well. Or if you wanted an after-dinner drink, if you'd got up from the table or you just had friends round and it was getting cold outside and you wanted a nice glass of filling, wholesome red wine, this would be a very good choice. Quesi 2018 vintage from iTant winery. This is Denominación de Origen Prriorat, Southern Catalonia. Give it a try.